Katılımcılarımızın gelmesini bekliyoruz. Evet, merhabalar herkese. Hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün dünyanın en iyi üniversiteler sıralamasında 14. sırada yer alan University of Pennsylvania'dan Lisa ve Stephanie bizlerle olacak. Lütfen sorularınızı soru cevap bölümünden yönlendiriniz. Yes, Lisa, the stage is yours now.
Great, thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. We are very excited to be able to talk to you about programs at Penn. And I'm very excited to hopefully see some of you in Istanbul next month at the Istanbul European side Ieft Fair. So my name is Lisa Taglang, and I'm the Associate Director of International Programs for the College of Liberal and Professional Studies here at Penn. And I'm here with my colleague, Stephanie Ackerman. Stephanie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. It's nice to be here with everyone. My name is Stephanie Ackerman. I'm the Marketing and Enrollment Manager for the English Language Programs at the University of Pennsylvania. So I'm very excited to talk to you all about our programs, and I'm grateful to be on this webinar.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. So we're going to talk to you about lots of different programs here at Penn. We have a lot of different ways that international students can come to Penn, can study at Penn, both for English language learners, for undergraduates, and for graduate students. But we thought we would start by showing you a few pictures of our beautiful campus. So, oh, shoot, sorry. Sorry about that. Stephanie, can you confirm that that the PowerPoint slides are visible?
I cannot see them.
Okay. Sorry, everybody.
I can see them now, Lisa.
Oh, really? Okay, great. And now?
I can see them, but it's not full screen if you're trying to make it.
Lisa, you can swap display on the top. If you can see that.
Yes.
Yes.
We're good now?
Yes, could you please change the slide?
Let's see.
Yes, thank you.
Can you see my second slide now? Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, everybody, for the technical difficulties. Hopefully you can see a picture of our campus right now. This is our campus. This is actually what it looks like right now in winter with no leaves on the trees. This is Locust Walk, which is kind of the center of our campus. This is our college green and our college hall. This is Penn dormitory in the winter time with some snow. And this is Penn with City of Philadelphia in the background. So you can see that we are an urban campus. We have a nice green campus, but we are in a big city with lots of restaurants and other things to do. So the University of Pennsylvania is located in, of course, Pennsylvania, which is the red state highlighted on this map of the US right here. So we're on the East Coast, and you can see on the lower picture that we're about halfway between Washington, DC and New York City, and not too far from Boston. So there are lots of really great cities that you can visit just within a couple of hours drive or bus ride from Penn. We are part of the Ivy League, along with other excellent universities that you can see here. You've probably heard of the Ivy League. It's a group of universities in the United States, which are all on the East Coast and have a very high standard of academic rigor and quality of education. So these are the international programs that we're going to talk to you about today. First, we're going to talk a little bit about programs for English language learners. So if you, maybe you have a pretty good grasp of the English language, but you need a little bit more instruction before you're ready to attend an undergraduate or graduate program in the US, we can help you get your English where it needs to be and help you to apply to degree programs here in the United States. For undergraduate students who do have the English language level necessary, so that means, maybe a TOEFL score of 100 or above, or an IELTS score of 7 or above, we have programs for visiting students. We have our International Guest Student Program and our Penn Summer Global Institute. And we have an online Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences, which also runs out of the College of Liberal and Professional Studies. And then we have lots of master's programs for graduate students that we'll talk about as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie to talk to you a little bit about our programs for English language learners.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. So as Lisa mentioned, I'm going to talk about the English language programs at Penn, which are a non-credit program really geared towards language learners. So the two programs I'm going to talk about today is our intensive program. We also call that the IP. And I'm also going to talk about our University Connection program, which we also call Unicon. So these two programs are very similar. They both run 7-week-long sessions that are offered 6 times per year. And there is an F1 visa requirement for both of these. Now, the intensive program is really focused on developing English language skills for academic, business, or general purposes. So this can be really whatever your interest level is, as long as you're looking to enhance your English language learning. We also, with the University Connection program, this is more geared towards applying to US undergraduate or graduate programs, and we help you prepare for the academic study at the university level. So these two programs, they do cost the same, they are similar, they just vary a little bit depending on the track you would like to take. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the levels of English language that we have for the intensive program and the University Connection. So we have levels 300 through 800. You do take a test before you enroll in the ELP that determines your language level. It is just an internal test. It's a Duolingo test, and we place you in the appropriate level based on your results. So our first level, we have levels 300 through 500. This is known as our pre-intermediate. Just to give you a sense of the type of classes we offer, we have 2 classes that are held Monday through Friday to get you to your 20 hours a week, which is required for your F1 visa. So we offer 2 core classes. We have the first as our reading and writing, which is offered 10 instructional hours a week. And the second core class is for listening and speaking, which is also for 10 instructional hours a week. The intermediate levels that we offer is levels 600 through 700. And this is 3 classes a week, so Monday through Friday for 20 hours. We have the core class similar to the previous level, but that combines all 4 elements of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And that is offered at 10 instructional hours a week. And then you have the opportunity to take 2 intermediate electives, and those are offered at 5 instructional hours per week. And here are some of the examples that we have for these electives. Just to name a few, we have writing for academic purposes, intermediate grammar, clear pronunciation, and dramatically speaking. So not all classes are offered each session, but there is a survey that goes out to our students to see what their interest level is in these electives and which ones we should run each session. So this is just an example for you to see. Okay, and then the last level is level 800. This is our most advanced level. There are 4 classes held Monday through Thursday, and you still reach your 20 hours a week, but you are taking 4 advanced electives, and each advanced elective is 5 instructional hours per week. And here are some examples of the electives for level 800. They are advanced writing for academic purposes, advanced grammar, academic vocabulary, advanced reading and discussion, just some more higher level advanced electives for this group of students. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the University Connection program. As I mentioned before, this is really geared towards students who are applying to undergraduate or graduate degree programs in the United States. What's really unique about our program is we are not a pathway program where we are not, sending you right to Penn specifically, but we actually work with each individual student and their needs and what school may be the best fit for them. So we have so many different schools we work with and a really great team that helps our students apply to these programs in the US or Canada. And this is included at no additional charge for students in the IP. And even if you are just in the IP, you still have access to our Unicon advising services. So they really go hand in hand. It just helps you to pick whichever track you would prefer. And then we also do offer Unicon Plus. So this is the Unicon program just offering additional standardized test preparation for the GRE, the GMAT, or the SAT, and this does come at an additional cost. All right, so just to talk through some of the services we offer in Unicon, we have weekly workshops with our amazing team of Unicon experts. They go over just the admissions basics, how to write an effective application essay or resume or personal statement. They also help our students with interview skills and how to complete the Common App, which is needed when applying to US universities. And then they are here for any other topics as needed. Like I said, they are experts in the field, and we have a really great team for this. Another service we provide with Unicon is one-on-one advising. So students can sign up for an unlimited advising appointments with our Unicon team, and they can receive feedback on their application essays, the personal statements, or resumes. Our team also helps them complete application forms and to prepare for interviews. And they also provide support with contacting university admissions offices. So really great opportunities with the one-on-one advising to really help each student with their own personal plan and their personal track on getting accepted into the university that's right for them. So here are just to show a few of the schools that our Unicon services have helped students get admitted to. These are some top universities in the United States. We have MIT, Cornell University, Yale, Purdue, and even Penn itself. So we really help our students get accepted into some top universities. All right, and here is a slide to just show our upcoming program dates and deadlines. So our next session is our Summer 1 session that begins on April 27th. There is still time to apply. The application deadline is March 17th. We also have our Summer 2 session that begins on June 29th. Our Fall 1 session begins August 31st. And then our Fall 2 session begins on October 26th. We do also have our dates for 2024. If you are a planner, they can be found on our website under dates and prices, and you can see all of the application deadlines for our programs in the future, as well as the pricing listed there. And that was all of my ELP things. So we'll be happy to answer questions at the end. But I'm going to turn it back to Lisa to talk about the College of Liberal and Professional Studies.
Great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Great. So moving on to programs that we run out of our College of Liberal and Professional Studies here at Penn, I'm going to talk about our International Guest Student Program, which is an opportunity for current undergraduates to study as a visiting student at Penn for a semester, a year, or a year. Our Penn Summer Global Institute, which is also for current undergraduate students and allows you to come to Penn as a visiting student for 6 weeks in the summer. Our online Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences, and some of our professional master's programs. So our International Guest Student Program, we call IGSP for short, and our Penn Summer Global Institute, we call PSGI. IGSP is a program that current undergraduates can come to for either the fall semester, which runs from around the beginning of September to the middle of December, the spring semester, which runs from early January until mid-May, or for the fall and spring semester, you're welcome to come study at Penn for the full academic year. PSGI is a 6-week intensive program over the summer and usually is in the months of July and August. For both IGSP and PSGI, you're going to be taking a full load of credited courses at Penn. So while you're here, you're functioning as an undergraduate student. You take classes with undergraduate students, you have access to all of the same services and activities as undergraduate students. And then you are typically able to transfer those credits back to your home university. Most of our IGSP students join Penn clubs. A lot of them participate in athletic activities. All students in IGSP and PSGI, again, have access to everything that is available to undergraduate students at Penn. So in order to be eligible for IGSP or PSGI, you do need to be a current undergraduate student at a school in your home country. You need to have already completed at least 1 year of study. So the first term that you can come as a visiting international student to Penn would be the summer after your first year of undergraduate work at your home university. And then for IGSP, it would be the fall of your second year. So we do have requirements around academic preparedness and English language proficiency because we really want all students who come to Penn to be successful here. Penn, again, it's an Ivy League school. It's a very highly rigorous university. Classes are challenging. So we need to know when you apply that you're going to be able to be successful. We don't want to set anyone up to be unsuccessful at Penn or not to have a great experience here. So we do require a 100 minimal TOEFL score across, as your overall score on the TOEFL. We like to see at least a 25 on each of the sections of the TOEFL. However, if there's one section or two sections where you're a little bit under that, there are other pieces of your application where we can make sure that your skills are, up to where they need to be for you to be successful. We do like to see at least a 7 on the IELTS and at least a 120 on the Duolingo English test. We accept all of those tests. We don't give preference to any one test over the other. The test that you choose to take should be the one that's best for you. It will make no difference at all to us as long as you're meeting those minimum scores. We like to see a minimum GPA of a 3.3 on a 4.0 scale. So, what we're basically looking for is that you've gotten A's and B's in your classes, and that you are a very highly qualified and competent, academically motivated student who, again, is going to be successful as an undergraduate student at the University of Pennsylvania. So IGSP and PSGI students enroll in a full load of credited courses. So for IGSP, which is in the fall and the spring, that means 4 credit units or 4 courses. For PSGI, it means 2 intensive courses for that 6-week period. If at your university you take typically more than 4 courses in a fall or a spring semester and you feel like 4 courses, might not be challenging enough, something to keep in mind is that courses at Penn have a pretty heavy workload. Most of our international students who come to Penn through IGSP or PSGI are a little bit surprised by the amount of reading and writing that they have to do for their courses. So 4 courses really is a full course load and will keep you very, very busy. As an IGSP or PSGI student, 50% of your courses must be in our School of Arts and Sciences, which we call SAS. SAS courses include all kinds of courses from the social sciences and the humanities to all courses in math, to economics, to the hard sciences like biology, physics, and chemistry. So all of those courses are open to you in the School of Arts and Sciences for you to choose from for at least 50% of your course load. For the other 50% of your course load, you're welcome to also take those courses in SAS, or you can choose courses in our Wharton Business School or our School of Engineering, or actually any undergraduate school across the university. So here is an idea of our application deadlines for these programs for each semester. So these deadlines tend to stay around the same date each year. They may vary by a couple of days, but typically to apply for PSGI, which is our summer program, the deadline is around March 1st. So for this coming summer, the deadline is coming up this week, very, very soon. If you are interested in studying with us at Penn this summer and you're ready to go ahead and apply, and you're, not going to be able to get an application together in a day or two, please contact us and we'll see if we can work with you. But typically for PSGI, we're looking at a March 1st application date. For fall IGSP, the application deadline is June 1st. So for fall 2023, our application is open now and the deadline is June 1st of 2023. And then if you want to apply for the spring semester IGSP, the deadline is typically around October 1st. So in order to apply for these programs, there is an application form, which you can complete online on our website. There are 2 application essays that we ask for. One, we ask about your background, and the other, we ask about your future goals. So we want to make sure that these programs that you're not only academically qualified for the programs, but they're a good fit for you. your interests, your goals. We do ask for one letter of recommendation. The best person to ask for a letter of recommendation is one of your current professors at your university. We ask for official transcripts from your university, and then we ask for those English language proficiency scores. If you do go to a university where your instruction is in English, we will waive those test scores. So for the programs that we've talked about so far, everything in the English language program, the international guest student program, or the Penn Summer Global Institute, if you indicate that you learned about these programs through IEFT, we will give you a 10% discount on your tuition. So there are a few other programs which we run out of Penn's College of Liberal and Professional Studies that I wanted to mention. One is our online Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences. So we call this our BAAS program. This is all online. So if you're looking for an opportunity to come to the US to study on our campus, this might not be the program for you, but you know, online programs may be what's kind of accessible to you at this time if it's too hard or too expensive to travel. So this online bachelor's degree from Penn can be a really good option for a lot of students. And we do have quite, you know, a few international students in the BAAS program. So you can see over there on the left, the concentrations for the BAAS. We have creative studies, data analytics and psychological sciences, data analytics and social sciences, individualized studies, which allow you to put together your own concentration based on your academic interests, leadership and communication, literature, culture, and tradition, organizational studies, and physical and life studies. So again, it's one degree, it's the Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences, but you get to focus on the areas that are most interesting to you and that meet your goals for, you know, your future career. On the right, you can see some of our certificate programs. So as a BAAS student, you can also earn a certificate in any of the areas that you see listed there. We also have professional master's program in the College of Liberal and Professional Studies. So here you can see our one-year graduate programs. So we have a Global Master of Public Administration. We have an International Master of Public Administration, and you can go to our website and read about the differences between those two programs. The International Master of Public Administration does require you to have a second language. We have a Master of Applied Positive Psychology. We have some very famous experts in that area who work here at Penn. So you get to study with some very renowned leaders in the field of positive psychology. We have a Master's of Behavioral and Decision Sciences, Master of Liberal Arts, and Master of Public Administration. And again, these are all one-year graduate degree programs. We also have a couple of two-year programs. We have a Master of Chemical Sciences. We have a Master of Environmental Studies, Master of Science in Applied Geosciences, and Masters of Science in Organizational Dynamics. So most of these programs are in person on campus, but you can see there that there is an online option for the Masters of Science in Applied Geosciences. So all of these professional masters are run out of our college and liberal and professional studies. Of course, Penn also has undergraduate and graduate programs with the university at large, and all of those programs are open to international students, and you can read about them on our website. So I have some links here, which hopefully we can get a PDF of this PowerPoint presentation out to all of you so that you have access to these links. There's lots of information online about every one of the programs that we've talked about. And then, of course, there's also information online about other programs at Penn that we haven't talked about today that are housed within other departments. And I will be at the Ieft Fair Istanbul European side on March 18th or 19th. So if you're there, please come to my booth and say hello. Let me know that you attended our webinar, and we can talk about whatever programs you might be interested in here at Penn. And here are email addresses for myself and Stephanie. Please feel free to get in touch with our offices anytime to ask questions or start a conversation with us about your interests and what you might like to do if you come join us here at Penn. And we can take questions.
There are some questions in the chat. We could just answer those live. It might be easier since Lisa and I both have different programs. So it looks like the first one, Lisa, might be more for you. It says, what is the minimum IELTS TOEFL score to get into UPenn?
So to get into UPenn, it depends, of course, what program you want to get into. So in general, to get into Penn as an undergraduate, or to get accepted into IGSP or PSGI, for all of those programs, we want to see at least a 100 on the TOEFL, at least a 7, preferably a 7.5 on the IELTS, and at least a 120 on the Duolingo English test. And then you really want to make sure that you're paying attention to those sub-scores as well, because if we see that, you have the required TOEFL score overall, but your writing score, for example, is a little bit lower, we might have a concern that you won't be able to, successfully complete the writing required at Penn. So you might want to take the test again and try and make sure that all your sub-scores for the TOEFL are 25 or higher, for the IELTS are 7 or higher, and for the Duolingo are 110, 115 or higher.
Okay. This next one, it says, do you offer pre-sessional English class? I think this is more for me. I believe pre-sessional is a term used in the UK to kind of describe what we do offer here at the ELP. Our entire program kind of is pre-sessional. It is, to develop your language skills before you are starting your degree, if that's what you're interested in. So we don't necessarily call it pre-sessional, but the ELP in general is definitely geared towards perfecting your language learning before you would want to apply to university, if that helps to answer the question. All right, it looks like the next one, I was wondering, the student social clubs in the university, could you please let us know the socializing opportunities?
You want me to take that one?
Yeah,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Stephanie.
I was just going to do ELP specific first. We have a really great student center on campus in our building where we run different events and different programs for our ELP students specifically. But outside of that, just the social clubs in general, all of our students do receive a university ID card. So they are members of the university. So you can join any clubs, anything really that you would like, whether it's recreational sports or band. We've had students join all kinds of different clubs at the university. Lisa showed a picture of Locust Walk in the beginning of the webinar, and that is where all kinds of clubs hang out. They kind of invite you to see what they're offering. It's really an engaging community, and there are definitely opportunities for both of our programs just at Penn as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. I think Penn has something like 400 or over 400 clubs that students can join. There's a club for every interest that you can imagine, whether it's academic or athletic or related to music, or just a way to meet other students with common interests and make friends. So there are lots and lots of clubs. There's a club fair at the beginning of the fall semester and the beginning of the spring semester every year. So you can go meet people in all the clubs and find out how to join. We also often have professors from universities around the world who visit Penn and give guest lectures, and students are welcome to go to those guest lectures. There are student associations in every department, so you can join an association of students who has similar academic or professional interests to yours. So there's lots to do. There are lots of service opportunities where you can do volunteer work with other Penn students. And if you do come for Penn Summer Global Institute, our summer program for undergraduate students, we do have organized activities and excursions. We go to a sporting event, usually a baseball game. Our Philadelphia Phillies are very popular. And we take you to museums, take you downtown to see some of the historical sites in Philadelphia. So there's definitely lots of ways to get engaged while you're here.
The next question, it says, do you accept Duolingo? I believe
Yes, sorry, I think most programs at Penn at this point do accept Duolingo as proof of English language proficiency. Definitely the university overall for undergraduate admissions. I know most graduate departments at Penn accept it. We accept it for IGSP and PSGI. There might be a few of the professional master's programs that only accept TOEFL and IELTS. So if you're interested in one of those professional master's programs that we talked about, you'll want to go to their website and just make sure that they accept DET or Duolingo English test before you start taking your tests.
This next question I love. It says, what does getting education from Ivy League universities add to a person? It's a really nice question. I can say a few things. I think the Ivy League is just a very prestigious group of schools. They're very selective in their admissions processes, and to be accepted to the Ivy League is a huge accomplishment. And I think the education you're receiving at an Ivy League is amazing, and it's rigorous, but the networking opportunities you have for job opportunities once you graduate are immense, just being part of the Ivy League. I don't know if Lisa wants to add anything to that, but it's just a very prestigious group of schools.
Yeah, I would agree with everything Stephanie said. And I would add that, when you're at a school like Penn, an Ivy League school, or any other school that has, very competitive admissions and a really high standard of academic rigor, one of the great things, if this is the kind of person you are, is to be around other really academically motivated students. So if you're someone who is highly academically motivated, who really loves learning, who's intellectually curious, who really is studying with a purpose that's for more than just getting a good grade, but you really, really love to learn, you're surrounded by other students for whom that is also the case. And I think that can be really motivating and really inspiring as a university student. Also, at universities like Penn, the professors are at the top of their fields. They have done extensive research in the topics that they're teaching. They've written lots of books on those topics. So, you know, the quality of education is very, very high. And, you know, again, if you're a student who's intellectually curious, who's really academically motivated, that can be a really, really inspiring thing to be a part of.
Hey, this next question is, what is the average living cost in Pennsylvania for an international student? That's a great question. I can go first.
That would be great. Go ahead, Stephanie. You actually, you live in Philadelphia. I live in the suburbs, so you might actually have a better perspective on this one.
Yes, absolutely. So I will say also with the ELP specifically, you are required to submit a bank letter with your application process. The bank letter does need to show that you have $10,000 in your bank account or whoever is paying your tuition. That is kind of the financial requirements for a 2-month session at the ELP. Just to give kind of an overview with that, that amount is what we need to see so we know you can, you know, be okay here in the US. I would say for rent, for housing purposes, you would probably be budgeting about $1,000 a month, you know, maybe less depending where you live, maybe more depending how you choose to live. But we can also help you with your housing accommodations. We can't necessarily get you housing, but we can send you information on housing. And our student services coordinator also lives in the city, and she has a lot of different options that she gives our students with different ways to live in the US, whether it's a homestay opportunity or living in the dorms when available, or just living in different apartment styles close to campus. So I would say that's about the average living cost. I will say Pennsylvania is more affordable than New York City or Washington, D.C., and it is nice because we are very close to both cities, but it is cheaper to live here. So that is a good thing for us, if that helps to answer the question.
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. I agree with everything that you said. And I think, you know, in terms of the financial obligation for, you know, showing that you have the means to come to Penn and, you know, cover everything, I think that what Stephanie said about that financial guarantee, that's going to be true for any program that you attend at Penn as well.
Yes.
And I see a related, you know, also about finances, a question about whether there are scholarship opportunities or discount for Turkish students. And, you know, as we said during the presentation, we will offer a 10% discount on tuition for any programs within the English language programs or the International Guest Student Program or the Penn Summer Global Institute. So make sure, you know, if you're inquiring about any of those programs that you mention IEFT, so that we know that you're eligible for that discount.
Great. Okay, the next one is, how much time does it take, or how much time for the application process after I submit my documents? So for the ELP, once we receive all of your documents, honestly, it takes about 2 days for us to kind of turn it around in our system. And then you are required to pay a $400 deposit. So it's a $90 enrollment fee and a $310 tuition deposit. Once we receive this payment, we send you your testing instructions to take our DET, which is the Duolingo test, to place internally in the ELP. And once you take the test and we receive your scores, you'll be sent an I-20. So a lot of our process really depends on you as the student, how quickly you're able to pay your deposit and how quickly you're able to take your test. But when it comes to the actual documents, once we've received those, a few days and we can get you all of that information. In the ELP, we are different because we are an open enrollment program. So, the requirements really are just to show us your bank letter, a copy of your passport, and an electronic photo needed for your ID. And then we can start the application process for you.
Great. And then for the programs to which you need to apply, which are all of the undergraduate and graduate programs, you'll submit all of your application materials, including your online application form, your essays, your letter of recommendation, and your test scores. Once we have everything, we usually have those applications processed within maybe 2 weeks, and we get back to you with a decision. If you apply close to the deadline, it might be a little bit longer than that, because we typically get a lot of applications close to the deadline, and it takes a little while to process. But you should hear something within a few weeks, and we are always thinking about the time that it takes to get an F1 student visa, and making sure to let you know that you've been admitted to a program, give you time to then think about it, get back to us, and commit to the program, so that we can get you your I-20 and you have plenty of time to get your F1 student visa before you come. So again, it's different for different programs. If you're applying generally as an undergraduate to Penn, the application deadline is in January, and you'll receive a decision around March. If you're applying generally to graduate programs at Penn, each program will have its own timeline. But for IGSP, for PSGI, and for most of the programs within the College of Liberal and Professional Studies that we've been talking about, our turnaround time on getting back to you after you've applied is a few weeks or a month at the most.
I think the next question also for you, Lisa, what should I do to make my application stand out among the others?
Yeah, that's actually a really great question. I'm glad you're asking it. And, one of the things that we really make sure to do is to provide you with lots of different ways to show us who you are, so that we're seeing you as a whole person when you apply. So you are not just your IELTS or TOEFL score. You are not just your academic transcript, right? We're asking for proof that you're academically qualified for Penn in your transcript. We're looking for proof in your test scores that your English level is high enough to be successful here. But we're also asking for you to write a couple of essays and really tell us about your interests and, why you want to study at Penn, why you chose the major that you chose, what your goals are, what you hope to gain from your experience here, and what you hope to contribute once you've learned what you've learned at Penn. So, those essays are really an opportunity for you to show us who you are, right? So rather than thinking, how can I stand out? I would suggest thinking about what do I need to say in these essays that is going to give the University of Pennsylvania a really thorough and accurate view of who I am as a person. How can I really truly express who I am, what my interests are, what my goals are, what I want to get from Penn, what I want to contribute to Penn. And if we're able to really hear your voice in those essays and get to know you, it will really help us to determine whether the program you're applying for is a good fit for you. We also ask for a letter of recommendation, and that's a way for us, just to learn more about you from another perspective. So I think, really giving a lot of consideration to who you ask for that letter of recommendation. It's much, much more important how well that person knows you and how deeply they can talk about you as a person than who that person is, right? So, you know, we'd rather get a letter from an instructor that has worked with you in class, that you've done projects for, that has seen not only your, you know, intelligence in your field of study, but also your work ethic, your motivation, your intellectual curiosity, can maybe talk just about your character, what kind of person you are, give examples about ways that they've interacted with you that have shown you something, them something about you. We'd rather have a letter from that person, no matter who they are, than have a letter from someone who maybe has a high status at your university but doesn't know you as well. So through all of your application materials, we should see a thread throughout your application that gives us a really good idea of who you are, what you're interested in, what kind of person you are, and, you know, why you want to come to Penn.
Great. Okay, this next question, do you have partner companies that provide internship or job opportunities for students? For job opportunities specifically, on your F1 visa, you are permitted to work as long as you're working on campus at Penn as part of, you know, a job that is specific to the University of Pennsylvania. So even if the place is on campus, but they're not part of Penn, that would not qualify. But you are permitted to work on campus through Penn. So that is something that is very specific to each person's situation. But just to give an overview, there is opportunities for work when you are on your F1 visa on campus. Okay.
Yeah, and in terms of internships and things like that, some of our students do find internships, but I will say that, you know, when you come to study at Penn, you're very busy with your academics, classes are challenging. And then since you're studying, you know, in another country, you also want to have time to, you know, have lots of cultural experiences, make friends, join clubs and things like that. So, you know, some students do come thinking that they're going to want to work or get an internship and ending up, you know, really focusing on their academics and just the cultural experience of being on a US university campus.
Yes. This next one, what is the ratio of international students? So for ELP, I mean, we're entirely international students, obviously. I would say the majority of our students are from the Middle East. We have a lot of students from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Oman. But we also do get a lot of students from Japan and South Korea. And then sometimes we get a lot of students from Latin America, specifically in Colombia. We have a partnership with a group there. So we are very diverse, and we're always looking to diversify more, which is why we would love to have Turkish students join our program as well. But that is kind of the ELP's ratio. Lisa, do you want to talk about yours?
Sure. You know, also IGSP and PSGI are all international students, but the students are integrated into the larger university. I think Penn overall, about maybe a little over 10% of the student body is international. So we have, you know, a pretty diverse group of international students throughout the university overall. So you would definitely see other international students in your classes. If you join clubs, there would be other international students in those clubs, but you would also, you know, be with a lot of students who are not international and come from the United States.
Yes. Okay. What is the minimum GPA to apply to UPenn?
So to come to Penn as a visiting student through IGSP or PSGI, we do like to see a minimum of a 3.3 on a 4.0 scale. For the summer program, PSGI, we're actually looking more for a 3.0 or higher. We're a little bit less strict about that 3.3 GPA for the summer. To come to Penn overall, again, it's going to depend on the program that you're applying to, but a student who has gotten mostly A's and B's throughout their, high school and undergraduate career is going to be the student who is most likely to be successful at Penn.
All right. Are all of IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo tests necessary, or only one of them is enough?
Just one. We only need one test score from any one of those tests. You do not need to take them all.
I'm sure that is great to hear. All right. Please provide more information about summer programs for high school students.
I can talk a little bit about that. Through the College of Liberal and Professional Studies, we do have programs for high school students, and they are open to international students. We do actually get a lot of international students in those programs. We have a lot of different programs for high school students. We have what are called summer academies, which are just a few weeks in the summer. I think they might range from 2 weeks to 4 or 5 weeks. And they focus on very specific areas like coding or biology or neuroscience. So you can, maybe find an academy that is in an area that's interesting to you. We also have a Young Scholars Program, which is more liberal arts based, which is also a summer program available to high school students. So, as a high school student, there are lots of summer opportunities at Penn. You do need to be, I think, in between your first year and third year of high school to participate in a summer high school program for Penn. So if you've already graduated from high school, those programs are no longer available to you. But if you go on the College of Liberal and Professional Studies website, you can see information about all of our different summer high school programs there.
All right, this question looks like it's specific to being a first-generation college student and asking if there are assistance programs or networking opportunities.
Yes, definitely. Penn has a program called First Plus, which is for students who are the first generation in their family to attend college. So when you apply to Penn, you should, look for that and fill out any forms that are on the admissions webpage about finances so that you can be considered for financial aid. And you're right, Penn does have a lot of pride in diversity initiatives. And one of the focuses of that, increasing diversity at the university is really trying to give access to students who are the first generation in their family to go to university.
That's great. Okay. What are the research opportunities for graduate students?
I can talk a little bit about that. So as I've said in response to a lot of the questions, it depends on which program you join. But most graduate departments at Penn have a lot of opportunity for research, for working with professors, for getting involved in different projects. If you're looking for a specific master's or even PhD program in your field of study, I would look on the website within Penn's overall website at that department to see if you can get information. And then there's a lot of contact information for each graduate department for department heads, advisors, professors within the department. So you can always reach out and ask about that as well. But the short answer is that as a graduate student at Penn, you should have plenty of opportunity to do research.
Right. I think this is another one for you, Lisa, maybe, about the Linguistics Program for the Master of Degree in Language Department. Are you able to talk through that a little bit, or?
So I don't know a whole lot about that specific program, but again, I think, your best bet would be to read about the program on our website and maybe contact someone whose email address is listed on the site with any questions that you have. Graduate departments at Penn are always happy to answer questions from prospective students. They want to hear from you. They want to answer your questions. They want to they want to talk about their department and make sure that you have all the information you need to decide whether, it's a good idea to apply and whether they could be a good fit for you.
Great. Looks like we only have one more question. Is there any student loan in contract? I'm not sure I understand this question too well. Lisa, do you?
So I think that this question might be about whether you can take out a loan to help you pay Penn's tuition for whatever program you're interested in joining. I don't have a lot of knowledge about the availability of loans for international students, but we do have a student financial services office which can answer any questions you have about financial aid, and they might have more information about financial aid, including loans, grants, scholarships, anything like that that's available to international students. So I would encourage you to go to Penn's Student Financial Services website, look for any information there about financial aid and loans, and then contact the department if you have any questions.
Great. Does
anyone? We got through all the questions.
Yes.
Great. I'm just looking at the chat to make sure we didn't miss anything there, because there's a Q&A and a chat. Okay, I think we're good. So please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. Please, check out our website and all of our different programs to see what might be a good fit for you. Please visit me at the Ieft Fair Istanbul European side on March 18th and 19th if you're there. And, we really look forward to continuing this conversation with you and, maybe seeing you here at Penn someday.
Yes, and go ahead, Zainab.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Lisa and Stephanie. It was a very informative session for the attendees, and you covered all of the questions. Thank you for your answers too. And
thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, also I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. University of Pennsylvania ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adresinden bize ulaşabilirsiniz. Bir sonraki webinarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again, you guys. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.